Morning, Top Gun here, Monday, August 5th, about 5 to 6 a.m. on the West Coast. So we're looking at what feels like the scariest Monday open since Black Monday, Monday, October 19th, 1987. Now let's first talk about the catalyst, Warren Buffett calls game. So Buffett sold about half of his enormous Apple position during the second quarter, and that news came out on Saturday morning. And Warren Buffett, obviously regarded as the greatest investor of all time, correctly, and that scares a lot of people. People know Warren Buffett is really, really good, and they wonder, why is he selling? There must be a good reason for it, and so it's going to cause a lot of people to get out. What is not the cause is what's going on in Japan, where the Bank of Japan slightly raised interest rates. They're getting rid of yield curve control. There's a guy by the name of Michael Gayed, really well followed on Twitter, who says that this is a global margin call caused by what's going on in Japan. That's not correct. That's a secondary consequence of Buffett's call. So what people do is they borrow in yen, which they can borrow very, very cheaply. They exchange that into dollars and they invest in, say, mega cap tech stocks or whatever. And because the yen has been losing value against the dollar, when they convert their dollars back into yen, they make money on the currency trade, and they make money being long tech versus what they have to pay to borrow in yen. So they're unwinding that as the yen rallies in a safety trade, but that's a secondary consequence. So second point is, so a second Black Monday looms. One difference is that there are circuit breakers in place. So if the S&P drops 7%, the market will halt for 15 minutes. If it drops 13%, it will halt for another 15 minutes. If it drops 20%, the market will close for the day. So it's not going to drop 22% like it did in 1987, but of course, a 20% drop would be enormously significant. But the most important difference between 1987 is the Fed put. So on Tuesday, the morning before the market opened on Tuesday, October 20th, 1987, newly installed Fed Chair Alan Greenspan stepped in and said the Fed stands prepared to provide liquidity as needed, thus inaugurating what's been known as the Fed put. And markets have come to expect, something goes wrong in markets, the Fed's going to bail it out, the government's going to bail it out. And so today, traders will be thinking, I don't want to just panic too bad because the Fed's probably going to bail me out, and they will. They will. So the question is, depending on how bad it gets, if they do an emergency 50-point rate cut tomorrow morning or whatever. And so as someone who's coming in heavily short mega cap tech, I don't want to give back a lot of my gains, on the sell off tomorrow. And so if the Nasdaq drops more than 10%, I'm planning on covering half. So you need to consider the Fed put in your trading today as well.